Dave here. How are you? Good morning. It is the 22nd of July 2018 in Australia Eastern Standard Time. I nearly forgot what time zone I was in. I'm looking forward to coming out of this winter. I know people have been saying it's hot. I'd like to get a little bit warmer. It was 0 here, and I'm sure in Canberra it was even chillier. If you can let me know how the sound is going, how the image is going. Carl, excellent. Audio, video, very good. Hopefully your wife is still asleep. Now, during the week, I have been absolutely flat strapped, not fat strapped. I've had 6 days straight working for Carbotech because they had their show this week. And one of the upsides of that, well, it's all up, of course, but one of the upsides of that is I got to meet a fair few people from Canberra who'd come up and from other areas around the country who'd come down to see the Sydney Timber and Working with Wood show, and also were aware that Carbotech had their own little in-house show set up so people were going between, and it was great to see everyone. We had sausage sizzles. I was on the barbecue for a while. It was a great time. Now, let me see what we've got next. Just wishing it was summertime, of course. So today on the show, the number 6 Stanley Bailey Australian made hand plane. Now this is it. Look at that. This is, I'll go through it in more detail. I'll bring the camera in closer. We're going to pull this apart. I'm going to tell you how I came about it, and we will do a little bit of tuning and put it back together. So that's one thing that we've got. Next thing we're going to have is Eyemuffs G6 International giveaway. And that is so good of George to come back on board. I got in touch with George because you remember last week I didn't have anything to give away. So I thought, look, I've got to get something more substantial. We're getting the numbers up. I've got a fair few subscribers. People are starting to look at the channel and say, you know what, it would be silly not to. So George has decided to come in once a month, and he will alternate between the G6 and the standard Eyemuffs. So every month, Carbotech have done the same. They're going to come in once a month. It will be Australia and New Zealand, but the Eyemuffs will be international. I am going to approach a couple more companies and see what we can do. And let's see if we can have it a regular event. I might approach, I won't say any names. I don't want to embarrass them if they say no. All right, what do we got here? The next thing. So, as I say, in the description box down the bottom where it says show more, click that. It will expand everything. You can go down and enter the Eyemuff competition, the giveaway. It's not really a competition, it's a giveaway. It's like a sweepstake. And what I ask you to do there to enter, and I'll give you 5 entries if you do it, and that is to bring another subscriber into the channel. As I say, the more subscribers I've got, the healthier the channel looks to people who are, sell product that we're all interested in getting. My goodness, where do you stop buying this stuff? And so bring in another subscriber for me. We're 27 short of hitting 47,000. So I want to hit 47,000 by the end of the show if we can. So if you can help me with that, that'd be terrific. Same with Patreon. I'm at 34 patrons. I want to get up to 50. I put a little target in there, a little goal. When I hit 50 patrons, I'm going to go out and buy a heap of plywood so I can keep on making more projects for you guys to follow along. Yellowbox shed latest items. John does not sleep. He just keeps on making these inventions, and they're brilliant. I'm just checking battery over there. They're absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to go through a few more of his inventions today on the Stanton bench. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you how to create more dog holes in the existing bench, because my particular bench, I leave a few of them out because I was having problems with things falling down. John's come up with a solution, and we'll go through that using a trimmer to create the chamfer, and also using the UJK Path Guides chamfer tool, or the UJK, I think it's just the chamfer tool. I don't know if it's a Path Guide chamfer tool or not. I don't think so. Path chamfer tool? Have a look, research it for me. What's the next thing we're going to do? Chat. Of course we're going to chat. You guys keep at it down in the column here, and I will try and keep my guts sucked in, because too many sausage sizzles at Carbotech. I think that's about it. And next week, I'm going to show the dial indicator on my table saw. So if you've ever thought about doing this, I will go through it next week, and I'll probably even crack the top of the saw open down through the insert, the tabletop insert, and we'll even put this on the arbor and check for run out on the arbor, because a lot of people don't realize your saw could be out as well on the arbor, not just the blade being parallel to the miter slot. So that's another thing we can look at. That means I'm going to have to research it, of course. I've done it once or twice, and I've never really quite got all the way through. So I've got this week off, thank heavens, so I can get some video done on that mystery machine out there. All right, first thing we'll do is we will pull this guy apart and have a look at it. Now, do you want to know how I came across that? I was cooking sausages at Carbotech on Thursday morning. Thursday or Friday, I forget which one it was. And we had a gentleman come into the car park very early because we had a little pop-up marquee. And he had this box tucked under his wing. And the boss said to me, "Hello, what's this guy got under his arm? Is this trouble?" Maybe he was returning something. Anyway, he just walked straight past the boss, up to me, and on the front of the box, whoop, close that up so we don't show too much yet, my name. And I thought, what's the story there? So I looked down and I said, "So you've given me a DVD player," because that's the box, it was a DVD player box. I said, "Are you throwing it out? Do you want me to give it away on the show?" And he said, "No, David, open it up." So I opened it up, and this was inside it. Now I'm going to read you the story. And the person that gave it to me is Keith Cullen. Now Keith has given us stuff before to give away. He's gave me the new blade for my Stanley 4.5. And he's given me this plane here. It's a number 6 Stanley made in Australia. So it's a Stanley Bailey made in Australia. So my smoother has got England. This one's Australia. Now I'm going to read it. If you stick with me. Number 6 hand plane. New gifts for you to keep or give away. Purchased by my employer as a first-year apprentice in 1972. My 6.5 was purchased by my employer in 1974, first-year apprentice. The plane is hardly used, mostly by my father. Plane has never been tuned. The yellow paint, see this on the handle here, and also on the heel. The yellow paint was my owner colour, as there were 4 new apprentices every year. You must keep the plane. And I will. There's no two ways about that. I will keep that. And he says also brand new push blocks. So he's got a couple of push blocks in here he's given me. Surplus stock. A line marker purchased circa mid-1970s. And a fancy mortise gauge, that is. A little ripper. This thing here. This is a handle. And on the back, you might be able to see it, but it might be blowing with all of the light on it. But it's a handle you put onto your base plate of your router. And so you can hold onto this and steady the router. It's actually got a flat on it on one side. So I can put it down on the piece of timber that I'm trimming and push the router along and hold it so it doesn't twist. He says, a recent purchase to help stabilize a trim router. I made a special router base to mount the tool, but did not like it. So he's giving it away. Box joint calls, these guys here, the full set. I think I used the 3/8 calls twice when the strap clamp broke. You need to be an octopus to use the calls. Hold the box and put on the strap. The Imperial set did not bode well with metric pins. I much prefer my Givkins dovetail jig. It gets a good workout. Now, I'm going to hold on to those because I also have another set. But if I'm doing a series of boxes, it's very, very handy to double up, especially if it's a tall box, because then you can put the calls bottom and top. So they're not going out. But look, I'll give the push blocks away. That's generous of me, isn't it? And I'll probably also give this line marker away, but I might have a look at it first and make my mind up after I've done that. So whilst we've got all this here, if you give away some of the tools on your show, I would appreciate an email post-show with a time. That'd be lovely. So Keith has only asked to watch and have a look at the responses. So I think that's very, very kind of him. How about a round of applause for Keith? That's fantastic, Keith. Thank you so much. You know what? I said to him, I shook his hand and I said, you know what? If there weren't other guys here, I'd kiss you. How crazy is that? That was so generous of him. I can't believe it. This is This is his heritage. This is, I don't know. I said, I'll clean that. When I first saw it, I'll clean all this up. I'll get rid of the yellow. And he said, don't get rid of the yellow, Dave. Please don't get rid of the yellow. What do you reckon? Okay. All good. Okay, there's a bit of chat there. UJK Path Chamfador. Okay, thanks for that. Lay off the carbs at Carbotech. Indeed. Okay, well done, Keith. Exactly. I'm going to close a couple of little things that are popping up in front of my chat down here so I can't see. That's better. Yeah, how nice is that? All right, let's get that playing and see if we can start working. I might go to the other camera and do the transition without actually turning the stream off this time. And I'm also going to show you guys a couple of the other things I've got here. So there's my... I'll move this camera out of the way first. How are we doing for numbers, everyone? Have we got some people watching, or is it just me and maybe 6 people and having a good time? Give you an idea of the size of my 4.5 smoother. That's it there. And here's the 6 beside it, and I'll line the frogs up. There you go. You can see it comes out to here and out to here. So that's a substantial difference. The body of the plane is exactly the same width as my smoother. They're exactly the same width. So the smoother, if anyone's wondering, that is about half an inch wider, I think, maybe about half an inch wider than a number 4. And I'm still choked up about it. I can't believe that he did that. That's so generous. Now, he did say that it hasn't been tuned, and I thought I would check that. So I've got my Veritas straight edge here, and I've got the blade pulled back so it's not going to hit. And I laid it on top, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but it has got a little lift at the front. The sole from the mouth all the way back to the toe is dead flat, but the front is lifting us slightly. I'm going to rock it. Don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that? How's it playing as is, Dave? Justin from Toronto. Okay, Stephen, off to the corner. Thank you, buddy. And I don't know if there's anyone else there, but as I say, that's the only thing. And it's only minimal. Now let's open it up. Before I open it up, I've done something to help everyone out a little bit. I got a schematic off the web this morning, so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to start with the cam on the lever cap, and then I'll take out the chip breaker, which will be connected to the iron or the blade, and then I'm going to undo the frog, which is the thing under the blade, and then we're going to have a look at the cast iron body just above where it's pointing to mouth. I think there might be some rubbish in there, and having a look at all this, it just makes it a little bit easier to see what I'm talking about. See where it says the depth adjustment wheel? That doesn't actually sit flat, it sits upright. So tip her over 90 degrees towards counterclockwise as you're looking at that drawing, and it's right. And you'll see handle or tote. Now, last week when I was talking about the Rider 62, I called the knob at the front, the knob or the handle at the front, the tote. It's wrong. It's, you know, when you're toting something around, you hold it by the handle. So that's how you remember. The handle is the tote. It has a lateral adjustment lever where the Rider does not. What else have we got there? That should be pretty fine. You'll be able to have a look through the internet and see. Just type in hand plane schematic or diagram, and that's where I found that one. So I thought it might be interesting for you guys to have a quick look at it. All right, here we go. This is the lever cap, and take off whatever I just called this. I call it a blade clamp. That's what I've always called it. And this is the chip breaker and the blade or the iron. Now I use this lever clamp or blade clamp as a screwdriver. You maybe shouldn't do it, but that's how I do it. So I can now take that off there, and I have the blade exposed. Now I've got my extra fine waterstone, diamond waterstone, out because I'm going to give this a quick touch. I don't think it needs anything more than that, but I'll give it a quick touch with the extra fine. I'm going to wet it first. 83:38, 83 people watching. Now remember what I said at the beginning. If you can help me out, I need some more subscribers. I want to get up to 47,000 by the end of the show. I'm only about 20 or 25 shy. If you know anyone that wants to help me out, that'd be terrific. It'd give me put a smile on my face. Giving that a quick touch. It's coming off nicely. Ah, beautiful. I can see just a little bit of a shiny spot right at the end there. I'll bring it up closer and you can see. Here we are. See that shiny spot right across the end? That's saying to me that I've got contact right away the corner. See it? Right the way across. So I don't need to do any more flattening on that. So I shall now do this one. Well, that's a very low angle they've sharpened it to. Much lower than my smoother. And this just takes years of practice. You get the hang of how to keep... It's all working from the shoulder when I'm doing this. Everything else stays locked. Well, my elbows know where to move. They know how to do it. I've done it so many times, I don't have to tell them anymore. I'll put the glasses on for this part because I want to have a look to see whether I've got a fine mark right across the end. I've got it all the way except for I haven't got the micro bevel on it. Again, so if you have a look, I don't have the micro bevel right at the tip. Now I have to lift the blade ever so slightly to get that. So I'll put it down near the wet area and I'll watch the water pull away from it, then up just a touch. See how my arm, elbow and shoulder are all working in conjunction. I'm keeping my head still. That's what you do with golf, isn't it? I have to tip it over ever so slightly. A little past there. And then strop it. And as I say to people, don't do this if you haven't done it before and you're not comfortable with it. This is how I was taught to strop when I was 16. That's sharp. That is very sharp. I don't have to bring it over and show you. I'm going to put the blade back, and how I do that is bevel up onto the backing iron there, or the chip breaker, whatever you want to call it, and around 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and you just tighten that guy up. I try and make it line up on the side so it's all perfect, and I can either use a large wide blade screwdriver or the cap, lever cap. Very, very nice. Now this is a bevel down plane. In other words, the bevel that I've just been working on the blade there goes down, and you can remember that by the screw head on the backing iron, or on the iron back to the chip breaker. And I'm going to leave that there for the moment. I'll move the... Oh, here's something else. If you use water stones, wash them and then dry them after. It's very important you dry them. Sorry, diamond stones. Slightly out of sight there. As I said the other week, what the stone is mounted on is steel, I think. So that's what the diamonds are all on. You can't let that stay wet, otherwise it'll get rusty. Bit of coffee. I'll have a quick read at this stage. Luke Wilson, glad to finally catch this live. Stream is full speed and clear in Ohio. Thanks, Stephen. Where's the Tormek? I don't have a Tormek, Stephen. Bushpig, g'day, Dave, Carl, John. Bloody hot in Houston today. Andy, hi in the UK. How are you, Andy? All right, next thing I'm going to do is take out the frog. Now the frog has got 2 screws. I'll bring it over again so you can see what's happening. The frog has got 2 screws down here. And it's the whole assembly that's going to come off the base. Just those 2 screws do it. Pretty much all Stanley planes, or pretty much any plane, is different. How would you change the design of a plane? I guess there's so many patents out there. See, that's just pulled out. I'll bring it over so you can see it. This whole thing is called the frog. I don't know why they call it a frog, mate. Rabbit. Rabbit. I'm an idiot. Veritas make a lovely wooden handled stubby screwdriver with a cap on. Yeah. Thanks for that, Carl. They do make a very nice one. I've seen them. 4 degrees Celsius there, Hayes. Now inside here, you can see someone's been planing something as probably some kind of a green thing, like maybe it's some kind of an MDF, maybe. I don't know, but we'll clean that out. And I think I've got some compressed air left in my line. I'll need the nozzle if it's down there. I don't think it is. Where have I put it? All this stuff, all the best intentions, and then I go and lose something. My compressed air nozzle, there it is. Why didn't you tell me it was down there, guys? You could all see it. No, you couldn't. I haven't got the camera down low enough, have I? Okay, it's a nice tool, Ian. I have one myself. Okay, 39 degrees. Okay, that's enough. So I'll blow this out. Not enough pressure there. What have I got that I can clean it out with? A small brush. I like the fact that Keith gave this to me as is, so I can have a little bit of fun tidying it up. I'm going to need to get a toothbrush, I think. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Toothbrush. How often do you replace your toothbrush? And this is way out of, way off center for this show. But I was looking at, I'm thinking, I just keep a toothbrush there, and you know, I buy toothpaste, clean my teeth. But I'm thinking to myself, I might start buying a toothbrush every time I buy a tube of toothpaste. When the toothpaste is gone, I'll bin that and the toothbrush, start a new one. Now, you may not even remember that until the next time you clean your teeth. I bet you, tomorrow morning or tonight, whenever you clean your teeth, or 2 times, 3 times a day, if you're a very nice person, you will think about this, and you'll look at the toothpaste, and as you're curling it up or coming right to the end and squeezing the head to get the last bit out, you'll think, Dave might have a point. There you go. No extra cost for any of that information. But it's one of those things that I guess you just take it for granted that it's always going to be there. Now, when I got the handle, when I got this plane, the handle's rocking around a little bit. Hear that? Could be treated pine. Could be indeed. So there are 2 screws, or screws or bolts, what do you want to call them? 2 screws, and I'm going to tighten the bottom one first. It's a whole lot easier to tighten this one down the base with the frog out. If you've got the frog in there, you kind of fight around all sorts of things. And then the long one down here, and it's always nice to use a good screwdriver. That's much better. That's really nice now. That's holding well. The front one was perfect. And now to replace things. The frog going back in, well, that's pretty easy. On the back of the frog, you can see you can advance the frog or retract it by this. This drops into the body of the plane, and then this hooks over a little screw. And so I can adjust this screw backwards and move the frog forwards or backwards. And what that does is make the blade further back in the mouth or further forward. So if you've got some timber, as I was talking about with the rider last week, if you've got some timber that's starting to lift, bring the frog forward and make the mouth smaller. And that's just going to drop into that. There's a little channel there that it holds onto. I'll tighten these screws up when I can lock onto it. There we go, got that one. And not all the way tight yet. I'll get the other one down there with it. That one and that one. Now I was told that The Stanley Baileys that were made in Australia were based on the Turner plane, Turner. Now, I've never seen a Turner, but I have heard of them, and I think they've got a very good reputation. So that is quite nice. As I said, the screw head has got to go into that recess. There's a recess just under the adjustment lever, which is centered at the moment. Drop that in, and we'll put the clamp back on. And I try and make sure that it's centered, like so. And now I'm going to adjust the plane down ever so slightly. I like to sight along. You know, I normally do this outside in the sunshine because then you can see quite easily. But I have these LED lights that I've got. Well, I've got one just above the camera there, and it's not a point of light. It's very dispersed, so that's a nice area to look up at, so I don't stuff it up. And I can just hold on to it and ever so slightly advance it. And if the blade is sticking out too high on one side, you advance the lever cap to that side because it works, it's pivoting. Let's see how this goes. Move my coffee so I don't fill it up with jarrah. This is the same piece of jarrah I was using the other day. Well, that's gone well. It's out on the one side only. Let's just take it up a little bit more and then bring the blade down a touch. And again. And just a touch more that way and down. It's doing a nice job. A little bit more. Nearly there. That's nice and smooth. That's beautiful. I'm going to put this straight edge on it because I'm curious. So I'm going to hop down here. And I'm looking for light. There's a bit of light at the end, but none at the front. So that is very, very straight from here to here. That's that last little bit that it's not getting it. See that? It's just a little bit more. Come on. Oh, that's better. Hear that? It just got a good grab. A good bite all the way there. Last bit. Yes. Yes, perfect. How nice is that? Okay. All right. I'm going to take that off there. Beautiful. What's the next thing we're going to do? So thanks, Keith. I gave it a quick touch and adjusted the depth. Look at that, I'm throwing rubbish on my floor. Don't tell David. I put the plane up there on its side so no one says, Dave, you know, you can't go putting your plane down. I can on here because I have the anti-slip cushion. Holds it up ever so slightly. Well, on mine it does. Poor old Deb. Deb was telling me, Dave, 3mm is too deep. Well, it probably is. Maybe I should have gone 2mm. All right, next thing. Next thing. I'll get my book. And what we might do now, I'll grab that. We'll have a look at a couple of viewers' things. I'll jump onto this camera and back over to there. Move the camera in closer to there, close enough. Move that out of my on-air light. And I was going to measure the plane blade's thickness, and it's exactly the same thickness as my number 4.5, 2 millimeters, in comparison to 5 millimeters or some crazy thickness of the rider, which, yeah, this is a very, very nice plane too. All right, next thing. Let's start with Derek. Derek has done a little project here, and I will read about that one. Hi Dave, here is my latest, a serving platter made from spotted gum and blackbutt decking timbers. Finish is grapeseed oil followed by beeswax. A little bit of tear out on a couple of cranky boards on the thicknesser, even with a spiral head. The apprentice reckons that adds character. Hope your week isn't too hectic. Regards, Derek and Julie. Thanks, guys. Okay, and we'll switch back to me without my tummy being hanging out. Next one. Brian Mohr. Brian won the GRS 16, and we had to send it over to Ireland for him. So I'll see if I can find that one. And here's Brian with his GRS 16. And he says, hey Dave, thanks for the GRS 16 prize. I've attached to my track but haven't managed to wield it in anger just yet. I already have my first job in mind for it though. Now here's the thing, you need to be aware of this. It's a shame I had to pay about $82 Australian to get it from the delivery company. Thanks again for all of your sharing and of course for my prize. Brian. Now that's something, when you're entering my giveaways, you must be aware some countries are going to charge you the VAT as it comes into the country. So before you jump in and enter one of my competitions, you better be aware it may cost you money as it's arriving. Now this isn't going to happen in every country, and Australia's just gone into a new situation with the GST in July, so I don't think there'll be anything for anyone within Australia, but I don't know. I don't know. What you can do is, if your name is announced as the prize winner and you've already entered in the GRS or the G6, there's a lot of initials, isn't there? You could turn around if you're in the UK and say, "Oh, Dave, can you take me out of the competition if you're not wanting to pay the VAT?" Now, I think the Eyemuffs are these ones are worth around $99 Australian. So you work out, if I don't know what your VAT is. I know in Australia GST, which is goods and service tax. In the UK, I think it's value added tax. I think you're around 20%. Is that? Or that'd be crazy. Wasn't the prize a gift? It was. And Brian tried to argue that point with the delivery company, and they said, no, it's valued at 150 US. You have to pay this much money. So that's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, next thing. So be aware. Next thing. I'm going to do a little bit of crossing off as I'm going through. We've done the Stanley, the Eyemuffs we're going to have a quick look at in a second. That all of those people, my patrons that are regularly looking after the show for me, and they're bringing the show to you basically. Roger DeBolt, Johannes Mohr, John Wilson, John Parra, Vincent Yang, sorry Vincent, I always get your name wrong, buddy, Louis Uberg and Raymond Todd. If you want to join in with those people and support the channel, that'd be fantastic. Love to have you aboard. Next thing. Some snazzy things from John Lafferty, and he's probably sitting in the wings going, oh well. Here we go. I'll swing the cameras around again, the other side. I'm just checking that I've got everything here. I'm going to do something slightly different, which I always do. I'm going to show you something. Now, I had a gentleman called Don Bullock who got in touch with me and said, Dave, I love your show, and I'm starting up a little YouTube channel myself. Would you be able to show this little video and put a link in the description box to my channel? He's only got 16 subscribers, and he loves his basset hounds, as you can see. So I thought, me with my dog Barry and Don with his basset hound, I thought, why not? I share the love. If people want to watch, go for it. Here we go. I'm going to throw it on now.
Hi there, Dave, and all your viewers. This is Don Bullock from WB Fine Woodworking in California. I thought I'd share with you all my latest shop organization idea. I made these clamp racks for my spring clamps and my Rockler bandy clamps. What's handy is I can take all the clamps to the job, not just one at a time. If you want to see more, you can check out my YouTube channel, WB Fine Woodworking, for the video on these.
So there you go. That was nice. Go and have a look. And he's got a few videos up, and he just wants a bit of encouragement. Why not? All right. Next thing. Yellowbox Shed have sent me up some things, as they always do. But let's have a look at this. Switch cameras again, David. Camera 2, transition, done. And I've managed to keep the stream going today. That's embarrassing. I actually turned the stream off while I thought I was transitioning something. Now, here's another thing. If, as I'm going along, and I will say something but do something different, please take pity on me. I'm trying to think of so many things while I'm doing this show that my head doesn't keep up with it sometimes, and I'll say the wrong thing. Like I said, the tote on the hand plane was the knob. It's not, it's the handle. I listen to the shows and I watch them. I review it to see what kind of a turkey I've been. And every now and then I just shake my head and think, what planet was I on when I said that? Here's another thing before we get into the next bit. Last week I was talking about the dust extractor. I think it's a DC-500H. It's the one that stands upright. And I said if you've got stuff that might clog, like some of these larger shavings, more coffee. I advised you to cut out the grid that's on the inlet to the impeller. Now, I still think that's a good idea, but be aware it's also a safety feature. That stops a child or someone putting their hand in there. Something to keep in mind. If you've got kids there, or the machine may ever be exposed to someone putting something in there, their hand, I was going to say part of their body, but let's stick with their hand, that it may not end very well. My machines are normally connected to a hose all the time, so it might be a 4-inch, 2 meter long or 3 meter long hose to hook onto a machine. So it's rare that it would be a problem, but just something to be mindful of before you start smashing out all of those grates. They're there also as a safety feature. Now, no one's asked me to say that. I was just thinking about it. As I say, I review the show and I think, that may not have been a smart thing to say. But there you go. All right. I brought over the wrong one. Of course I did. I need this one from over here. Now, I'm going to drill some more holes in my Stanton bench. And the reason I'm going to do it is because John sent me up some of these. Now, these are hole plugs. And you know what they've got in them? A magnet. And you're going to be going, well, good on you, Dave. What's the use of those things? Well, when John first told me, I thought, yeah, good on you, John. What's the use of those things? But, see this? See this? Screws and all sorts of small things can't fall down there anymore. So then the bench, any of the holes, the dog holes that aren't in service, you just close them up. How do you get them out? You want to see it again? Magnetized. How clever is that? I'm going to do a quick read. Excellent. Yeah, I think so. You know, why not? I started off, and I'm talking about the comment there from Respect in Wood, and also from Mark Wiley. Nice to share the exposure. Definitely. We all got to start somewhere, and I'm more than happy to give someone a hand. You know, if they're genuine. If it's rubbish, well, sorry, it's not going to happen. Now, because I've got these wonderful things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple more holes in here because I can, and it's dead easy. Before I do that, I'll read John's little thing here. Hi Dave, hope you're getting some rest tonight. Sounds like a huge end to 6 work day. So this is just working last week. In the box I sent were 6 dog plugs with magnets and 6 dog plugs without magnets. Not only do the magnets make it easy to remove the plugs, but they are also handy for holding screws, etc. John, I hadn't even considered that. You could put these in this bench, put a couple of screws there, and they'll kind of roll away. I think John's charging $2.50 each for the ones with the magnets and $1 each for the ones without the magnets. Now, couple without the magnets. So I have some rare earth magnets that I bought online. You can get them from all over the place, but I just bought some online. They were pretty cheap, delivered from China. This is the dog without a magnet, and where's that piece of wood? And a tiny little piece of, you can use 1/4-inch dowel. See these rare earth magnets here? I think I picked up 30 of them, delivered from China. Took about a month to arrive, but it was cheap. It was super cheap to get them sent. You know, I was surprised. Whoop, look at that. Now, to put them in, that's a tight fit. So I put a magnet on top and I push into it a little bit, and there's a hammer down there, but I'm not going to hammer it, obviously. I'm going to hold my piece of stick across the top, give it a tap until it's flush, and then the end, I'll stand it upright and I'll tap it in. Now don't go crazy tapping it in because you might fracture the top. So let's see if that's going to work. See if it'll... Ha! How good is that? I love it. Look at this. The magnet's inside. Anything steel or ferrous based is going to pick it up. So I'm going to do a couple of holes here, and it's 22, so we're traveling really well with time today. I'll put that one in there. Those two guys down there. You know how to do it, or do you want me to do it again? I'll do another one so you can see, just in case you're slipping and you're becoming a little bit forgetful like Dave here. Put that there. Put that guy there. Put the magnet on top. I'll bring the camera in nice and close for this one. Not that you have to see it like that, but might just make it a touch easier. So there's the dog without the magnet. This is just a little cap. And then the magnet on the top. Hammer and a stick. I put a piece of hardwood across there so it doesn't dent the bench at all. Whoop. How good are these mats on the floor? I dropped a couple of batteries this morning out of the microphone. Microphone's still working well. Yep. And they landed perfectly well. See that? That's in. And then the end of the stick. You could use a bit of 1/4-inch dowel if you wanted to. That's down. Don't punch too hard because you might stuff the end up. That's just a little bit of white. Nothing wrong with that one. And then pop it in. And see it there. Hammer over the top. Up she comes. I love it. John, that's such a clever idea. All right, now let's do some things here. I'm going to have a quick read first. And I'm not going to move the camera. I'm going to leave it there. Maybe swing it around to there. I'll have a quick read. Good info. Steve, now email you now, Andrew. Stuart West, Dave. Not suggesting you do anything illegal, but for information, anything I buy direct from China has a silly low valuation on the customs form. Okay. Steve Wallback, try using the drill press to push magnets in, Dave. Yes, I could do that. Thanks, John. From Andrew, magnet for DIY, 10 by 4. Excellent. I think mine were 10 by 5s. Stuart, my trend did have the same problem, was the charger not putting a full charge in. Use a decent charger. Yep. I guess you guys are talking about John's battery, the lithium battery, which I keep in my air shield. Well, mine's a pure light. It's not a trend. But I get 15 hours out of that battery that John made for me. Here we go. This is the UJK Path Guide, which you all know. These are Peter Parfitt's long dogs, and I'm using those instead of John's dogs, but I've got John's M8 handles on the top to push it in. Of course, they are fantastic. And this guy here is the 3mm guide. I put that into there, and then I need to get the 3mm drill bit. How about I put a couple of these around here so I don't lose anything? Look at this. And John even put a chamfer on the top. Can you see the chamfer just here? So they don't slide and disappear. And even with the chamfer on, it's so slight, these plugs sit up just above the bench, but I'm going to show you how to chamfer them as well. All right, get the, now that I'm getting all the small stuff out, I didn't want any of that to roll around and go down the hole. See, look at that. No, you can't see it because it's out of the way. Can you see that one? And as John said, stops them rolling away. I love it. Ha! John, this is brilliant. And the Allen key, let's see if that locks on. I'm going to tip that down so you can see it all. They're all held. They're not going anywhere. Look at that. This one, it's being held. I love it. All right, my guts are hanging over the bench there. That's not good. I got to get away from that bread and those sausage sizzles. So I've got a drill here, and I'm going to put the battery in it because it's fully charged. It's live and learn, isn't it? You do something on one show and you think, oh, that's a life lesson. I won't do that one again. Basically, I'm talking about a flat battery. And we'll switch that to fast. And I'm going to drill this all the way through. You watching? Done. And I'm going to move a few things back here. I need those out. Will that pull it out? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Take this one out. And this one, move it to there. We'll only do a couple to start. Beautiful. And that one's in there. This really is testament as to how accurate Peter has made this jig. It's brilliant. Turn it around. And now I'm going to drill the other one. So these are all 96mm centers. Beautiful. So if you're thinking, oh, I've got to put all the holes in your pattern, I can't put any more in. Well, yes, you can. You can put as many in as you want. Deb Scott's having a look at Peter Parfitt's isometric style of using the path guide to do that. And that'll be a bit of fun as well. Okay, I will do this one back here. Come on, get a hold, David. Oh, that's no good, John. That one's not coming up. That must be one of my magnets, not one of yours. There it is. Pull this out, this one. Such a good system. Spin her around. Now's the time. 10-2. I haven't got to announce anyone as a winner of a competition this week, so we've got a bit of time. And I did mention the other week to only go down to a certain depth with the drill in the guide. I'm going to use the guide that's closest to there, and I will put a little bit of oil on it because I don't want it to jam and wear the bush out. So it goes into that one. And I want it to stop shy. Remember, I don't want it to go all the way through, so I want it to go, this is 18mm ply. I'll make it go down possibly 16. And for the moment, that will be plenty. I need a tape measure to be able to say to go down 16 millimeters though, David. And I'll put the collar on the back. Now, I had someone say to me that the collar is plastic. Oh, sorry, the grub screw is plastic. Is that correct? I don't know if it is or not. I haven't noticed it. That is 15, 16 there. Yeah, that one pulls up nice and tight, not a problem at all. Put that there, and then that one lined up with that, and that one there. And I don't have dust extraction on this one today, but we'll be okay with that. And the other drill. Okay, Centratec chuck on it. Beautiful. Take it off. How easy was that, just to whip that off? Whip it around. If you haven't seen this system before and you're only new to the channel, have a look back through my videos, and I've done a full video on how to make this, how to use the system using the path sticks, how to make this bench. And if you want plans on how to make this bench, it's not just the surface at the top, it has an apron at the front here as well. There are links in the description below. For the plans, and the plans are $10 Australian and $5,000 VAT. I'll do this one here. I think that they might be $11.50 Australian. I was trying to get it so it was working $10 for the US market. So whatever the exchange rate is now, and the Australian dollar's rubbish against the States at the moment. The last time I checked, I think it was $1.36 Australian for $1 US. I'm going to do the last two because I want to get it sorted. So stick with me. You see how easy it is. And how accurate it is, because all of these are lining up perfectly. Again, I'm not going all the way through because I don't want to tear out the back. So after the show, I'm going to turn this board upside down and drill the holes from the other side. Of course, the 3mm hole from this has already gone right through. And that's the way we stop tear out. 6 minutes to go. I'm going to get the chamfer tool out and also the trimmer in a second. Read a little bit as we're going. 71 cents. Wow. Now I noticed there was something, one message has been held for review there. As you're going through, I have 3 moderators in today who are keeping an eye on things to make sure that everyone's behaving themselves in the stream. If you put something up that's not really family orientated or abusive, they'll delete it. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all of those holes done. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do some chamfering. I'll drop that in there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new holes, which is great. And I'm going to use the UJK chamfer tool which is this one here. You always behave, Daryl. Good on you. Flip over to AVE channel to see a technical review on Festor. He says it's trash. Black & Decker is better. Does he, Eric? Well, there you go. I'm not saying it's not, but I own Festool and I've owned Black & Decker, and I'll tell you what, I will take Festool any day. I haven't done them deep enough, or it's hitting the base of those. Yes, it's hitting those. I have to make sure that that's going to be deep enough for my trimmer. Let's try the trimmer instead. I'm going to make a bit of noise. This is a 1/16 round over that I've put in the DeBolt trimmer. Just a 1/16 round over. Okay. And look, there's a lot of people out there like to rubbish a whole lot of things, and they do it because they're sensationalizing things. So it's your call as to whether you want to believe everything people tell you, or whether you just buy the stuff, use it yourself, and be your own judge. Here we go. I'm going to turn the trimmer on. Now you'll notice that I've only done 2 there, the reason being the cushion strip is up. So I need to adjust the cutter down a little bit to be able to reach down there to go to the right depth. But let's have a look at what we've already put in. That's beautiful. And this one, out of the way. Let's see if they come up. Done. Done. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, what else did I have written for the show today, if anything? I think that's probably going to be enough. I will spin this camera back around. I'll move that one out of there. And then this one, I will swing back over here. And hopefully it's going to be showing down the back there. Where are we? Back to there. I'll do a little read while I'm back. Okay. Abe's review and disassembly of a Festool saw notes that there's nothing in the mechanical saws that's any better quality than the competition. He did some great DeWalt teardown vids, very informative. We need a sarcasm emoji. Andrew, the Festool drills feel very nice, but too rich for me. Stephen Lee, Black & Decker is Chinese junk. I have an Azito SDS hammer drill, rotary hammer drill. And I bought it thinking that I'd probably throw it away after the first couple of uses. I've had that drill for 15 years, and it's one of the best drills I've ever owned. It's also a mini jackhammer. It's fantastic. I can drill holes through concrete 12 millimeters, half an inch thick, 4 inches deep, 5 inches, 6 inches deep. I've got a larger couple of bits out there that are probably 2 feet or 3 feet long that I use for going through massive concrete walls. It did not blink an eyebrow. It just straight through. I have Festool gear that I absolutely love. My Rotex, I can't believe how good it is. This little drill here, my CXS, one of my favorite tools in the whole workshop. Some Black & Decker gear up here as well. So when I say Black & Decker, DeWalt I mean. My reciprocating saw, it's a demon. I love it. So, and my old Makita router that I've had for a million years, there's nothing stronger. So it all depends. I guess every company is going to have their strengths and their weaknesses. But as I say, when I was talking about it earlier, it's whatever you buy and how you use it, look after it. And if you find it goes well, great. I bought a chainsaw. There was an electric chainsaw, a GMC one. And after about 8 cuts, it fell apart. I took it back to the store and said, give me another one. They did. I've had that one for a long time, and it has done a truckload of work. Could also be what's happening in the factory on the day. I think that's just about it, guys. Zane, another good show. Excellent. Purchased first Triton belt sand and like it. Yes. Great show, Dave, as always. Love it, love it, love it. Also, when is the CNC videos coming? All right, here's the thing. I have taken this week off, coming in front of me on purpose. I've taken it off because I really do want to try and get the first video on that mystery machine out there done. I've got half of it done. I need a lot of time more. I've spent 7 days filming. Now I have to edit, and then I can get it up and show you, and we'll take it from there. There'll be one which will be a short video, and there'll be a few that'll be very full on in depth. Here we go. Thanks for everyone coming along. Next week, as I say, I will try and do something with this guy. This is a dial indicator. Give you a little bit of heads up on arbor. If you've got run out on your arbor, and if you have, there's not much you can do about it. Mine has a little bit. And as I say, if we can get me up to 47,000 subscribers by the end, I don't know how many I've got now. I'm hoping we've got there. I want to try and get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of next month. That would be great. And then, you know, it's just a line in the sand, but it makes me feel good. What else? Patreon, if you can jump in and help me there with Patreon, I can help you. 34 patrons, I want to get up to 50, so that's my goal. Then I can get some more plywood and get some more stuff happening. All right, if you enjoy the show, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I will see everyone next week, so look after yourselves. Bye.